applause for all the contestants so far. Ronan, does Pageant really have to end?
Oh, I wish it didn't, but alas, we're on our last segment, the Q&A.
Dun dun dun! Why? Sorry guys. I'm getting nervous for them, but I'm sure they'll do great. Can we all get our contestants out on stage, please? Wow, Shreya!
Wow, they look lovely.
Nico, you look hot.
Yeah, Miko.
So before we begin, here are the rules. Each contestant will be asked a question from one of our judges and will have 1 minute to answer, with the time starting right after the question has been read.
We would also like to note that these questions and answers do not necessarily reflect the views of the Asian American Student Union or Asian Kaleidoscope Month, but rather are the personal opinions of these contestants.
Judges, are you ready?
Sure.
We can't hear you.
Come on, judges. Contestants, are you ready?
Yeah!
Okay.
So first up, we have Lauren Vu. Good luck, everyone! Okay. Very short. Hello? All right, can everybody hear? All right, is that yes? Yes? All right, awesome. Just so we are all clear, hi everybody, my name is Ayan Ichan. I'm going to be asking the first question for Lauren Vu right now. Lauren, are you ready? I'm ready. All right. So your question is, what is the most significant change that you have seen affect the Asian American community in recent years?
So, on a positive note, I've seen the American public actually recognize lack of Asian American actors in media. So I've seen this through the hashtag social challenge, hashtag starring John Cho. How many of y'all have heard of it? Okay, cool, I see a couple hands. So basically, it envisions an Asian American actor in leading movie roles. And also with casting of Scarlett Johansson, like with The Ghost in the Shell, people were starting a dialogue. And I think this is very empowering to just have this discussion as a person who has done theater for 4 years and two cousins who has been trying to be Asian American actors. It's very empowering to know that there is a discussion going on. And you know, we are not just the sole representation of a culture. We're not the comedic relief in a movie. And we're not just a side character. We have great stories to tell, we're talented, and I'm glad that we're actually talking more about lack of Asian Americans in media. Thank you so much.
Next up is Jed Rojas.
There have been several controversies in recent years concerning the freedoms of minority groups, including Black Lives Matter and Trump's travel ban on Muslim countries. How do these contentions affect the Asian American community, and how can Asian Americans advocate for their minority peers?
So, I personally do not affiliate with either the Black Lives Matter movement or am influenced by Trump's travel ban, so I can't speak as to how Asian Americans would be directly influenced by it unless they go out of their way to be a part of either contention. I stand for social equality. In that sense, I stand with the Black Lives Matter movement, but on a lot of social media sites and just news media articles, I see a lot of policemen who are doing good work be put in and have a negative light shined on them, and I don't think that's fair. I think there's a lot of good cops that far outnumber the number of bad cops who are out there just trying to do their job and should get home safe to their family. And for Trump's travel ban, you got to understand where the policy is coming from and trying to keep the country safe. Unfortunately, it does have to prevent some people from getting in, but there's a reason why it's. Thank you.
Next up, we have Shreya Nirmalan.
is a prominent obstacle that Asian Americans face in America, and what can governments do to address these concerns?
I believe the prominent obstacle that faces Asian Americans is the fact that we are perpetually viewed as foreigners. I don't know how many times you guys have been asked this question, but I'm always asked, where are you from? No, where are you really from? Many people don't understand that Asian Americans have been living in this country for over 100 years. And that's because there's been an erasure of American history, or Asian American history, in the public schooling system and education overall. I believe that what governments can do to remedy this situation is by ensuring that Asian American history is taught in classrooms instead of being erased. The U.S. cannot erase its history because it's ashamed of it. It cannot say that Japanese internment camps didn't happen. We should be talking about what happened to Vincent Chen in classrooms. And we should be talking about the strict laws that prevented Asian immigrants from coming to this country. By having this education in our classroom, we can finally get rid of that perpetual foreigner view that many people have of Asian Americans, and people can start accepting us in this country. Thank you.
Next up, we have Nico Marfori.
The Asian American Studies minor was established at UF in 2012, the first of its kind in the Southeast region. However, there were no courses offered this current semester from a lack of student interest. Why do you believe this lack of interest exists, and what can be done to get more students involved in this minor?
Well, I believe that there isn't a lack of interest. I know a lot of people that are very interested in the Asian American minor, but I do think we do not support, or our university does not support this minor with enough funds. And I also think that these classes are not accessible to students as easily because they are offered at very unpleasant times. To be more specific, they're offered around 9 to 10 at night. And to answer your second part of the question, I think that we should continue to educate students about Asian American studies, especially in our general education classes such as our humanities courses, because I believe that, well, ever since I was in grade school, like Asian American studies has briefly been touched during classes, so I think we should touch upon them more. Thank you.
Next up is Jamie Lowe.
This is a kind of a long question, so just letting you know. The University of Florida has experienced various incidents of hate speech in the recent years. How do these incidents on campus affect the marginalized communities of Gainesville, and how can these groups unite to advocate against these messages?
I feel that we live in a nation where we have the right to free speech, so it's very hard legally to stop these people and their hate speech. But I feel that we could also utilize our right to free speech. For instance, we can organize peaceful protests against these people that say these hate speeches. And I feel that the only way to stop hate is with love. And through peacefully protesting against these people, we are letting them know that we don't have room for hate in our hearts, and that we are not just going to stand here and have them say these things about us. And I feel that by doing these peaceful protests, we are also helping those groups that feel marginalized by those hate speeches as well. And it is basically telling those that have hate in their hearts that we are not going to be stepped all over by them. Thank you.
Next up is Yoshi Kushibiki.
Hello. Back to me again. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So your question is a little lengthy, so please bear with me. All right. According to PewResearch.org, 63% of registered voters listed treatment of racial and ethnic minorities as an important factor in their vote for president. However, this is not among their top concerns. Considering the current political climate, why do you believe the treatment of minorities is not of greater priority during elections?
Well, to be fair, I think when it comes to statistics, people that are collecting survey, making all the laws and everything like that, these are people that are privileged. A lot of these people are not there physically getting harassed, not getting racial slur, not getting any violence towards them. So it's easy for them to neglect the idea that this is not important to them because they're behind protected doors. However, people that are not protected behind these doors always face them every day, every time they wake up, every time they go into society. It's a big problem that a lot of privileged people do not understand. So for those minorities that are facing this every day, it's a real strategy. Yet we need to make this very clear to them, to the very privileged, that this is an issue, that this happens to everyone, and that it needs to be fixed, dealt with, so that that percentage can be a concern for the rest of America. Thank you.
Next up, we have Ina Cortez.